due to the fact that we now have 18 confirmed cast members for the new HBO Harry Potter TV show. Popularity and concerns for the show is at an all-time high. I have noticed concerns by some people in the comments at the rate of which I have been going through chapters covering the first 3 episodes of season 1 of the new show. The decision to do so is something that I might explain in a future video, but for now I just want to put everyone's mind at rest, because today we're going to dive straight into episode 4 of season 1. The first episode that really slams the brakes, slows the tone and the pacing right down to let the central mystery breathe. No more 3-chapter sprints. This is where the clues start stacking up, friendships are forged in troll-filled bathrooms, and Harry receives something that every wizarding kid dreams of. So let's jump straight into season 1, episode 4, named after one of the most iconic spells in the Harry Potter series, Wingardium Leviosa. We open with our previously on Harry Potter recap. Harry's first weeks at Hogwarts, the midnight duel gone wrong, and that heart-stopping cliffhanger with Harry, Ron, Hermione and Neville stumbling across a giant 3-headed dog. The episode immediately throws us straight into the chaos, with the kids screaming as the 3-headed dog lunges at them, barely escaping and slamming the door shut behind them. Back in the Gryffindor common room, Neville bolts to bed and Hermione drops that key detail that she noticed. It was standing on a trap door. We get a quick flashback from the day that Harry saw Hagrid taking a small grubby package from Gringotts. We then see a flashback of him reading the newspaper article about a Gringotts break-in from the previous day. This signifies to the audience that Harry has made the connection between what Hagrid was taking, what the thief was after in Gringotts, and what Fluffy could potentially be guarding. This then cues our title sequence for the show. After the title sequence, we begin the next morning at breakfast, with Harry and Ron sniggering at Malfoy's expression when he realises they haven't been caught out of bed the previous night. During breakfast, they have a short conversation about Harry's suspicion about what the dog could be guarding, and we see a shot of Hermione listening to them sneakily. The conversation is cut short, however, by a long package delivered to Harry by Hedwig. Harry reads the note attached to it that reads, "Do not open the parcel at the table. It contains your new Nimbus 2000, but I don't want everyone knowing you've got a broomstick, or they'll all want one. Oliver Wood will meet you tonight on the Quidditch pitch at 7 o'clock for your first training session. Professor M. McGonagall." We then cut to that evening with Harry arriving with his Nimbus 2000 to the Quidditch pitch to meet Oliver Wood for the first training session. Wood proceeds to explain all the different rules to Harry about Quidditch, including the positions and all of the balls. It's an absolute info dump, to be honest with you, like in the movie, but I mean, come on, you can't stop Wood when he's in his flow, can you? Harry then proceeds to have a training drill with Wood throwing golf balls for Harry to catch. He zooms around on his Nimbus 2000 in an extremely fast montage of shots, catching every single ball. The scene then ends with a close-up of Wood's face, grinning like a maniac. Now, in order to highlight the following time jump, I want the TV series to adopt a sort of motif in order to highlight the difference between seasons and months, similar to the movies actually. Think wide shots of the castle with colours of leaves changing. We'll see students running around, going to classes, playing and pranking each other. This particular motif will highlight the time jump to the end of October, and we will see a brief shot of Harry and Ron walking to Charms class through corridors that have been decorated for Halloween. During the Charms class, we will get the Wingardium Leviosa class, which will be done pretty much exactly like in the movie, as it was done perfectly, including Hermione's correction of Ron's pronunciation and movement, as well as her performing the spell absolutely perfectly. This prompts Ron to insult her as they leave the class, leaving Hermione to run past in tears. Sequence 1 of the episode will end with a close-up of Ron's face and his expression of guilt and discomfort. Something that I am desperate for the series to do is stray away from the representation that the movies had of Ron, often just simply treating him as comic relief instead of a complex character with many different layers. Justice for Ron. So, we begin an absolutely massive Sequence 2 with a wide grand shot of the Great Hall decorated for Halloween with all the students present for the Halloween feast. It will look just as spectacular as in the movie, maybe even more so, with bats flying around, the ghosts drifting eerily through the tables, and jack-o'-lanterns hovering in the air. As we see Harry and Ron enjoying their food, they overhear Lavender Brown and Parvati Patil discussing about how Hermione has been locked in the bathroom all afternoon, crying. As Harry and Ron share a concerned look, Professor Quirrell bursts through the Great Hall doors and sprints all the way to the teacher's table. As he arrives in front of Dumbledore, he gasps about a troll loose in the dungeon before fainting on the floor. During the commotion and evacuation of the Great Hall, Harry and Ron suddenly realise that Hermione doesn't know about the troll, so they rush off to go and find her. As they are running, I like the idea of Harry asking Ron about trolls and Ron giving him a brief explanation about how they're stupid and where it might have come from, and as he does so, we could get some flashes from the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them book about mountain trolls. We could even have Newt Scamander even narrating the information given. On their way, they actually come across the troll that had left the dungeon and wandered into a vacant room. Harry and Ron come up with the brilliant idea to lock it in the room it had just entered. They do so, and as they are congratulating themselves on their wonderful plan, they hear a scream and realise they had locked it in the girls' bathroom with Hermione. They burst into the room and, like in the movie, proceed to save Hermione with a combination of Harry jumping on the back of the troll like a lunatic and Ron using Wingardium Leviosa to knock the troll out using its own club. Shortly after the battle, McGonagall, Snape and Quirrell arrive and the conversation proceeds just like in the movie, with Hermione taking the blame for looking for the troll and McGonagall proceeding to dock her some points before dismissing her from the bathroom. McGonagall then turns to Harry and Ron and proceeds to award them some points before sending them back to the common room as well. When they arrive at the common room, they find it full of all of the students enjoying the food from the feast that was sent up to the common room, and they notice Hermione sitting alone in the corner. They go and sit next to her, and the three of them share a small smile and a word of thanks, which indicates to the audience that this is the start of an iconic friendship. Cue a cut to black and the end of Sequence 2. Now, I know a lot of people might be worried that the next sequence and chapter of the book might be pretty rushed, as Sequence 2 was fairly long and extremely action-packed. However, you will see shortly that we will not be covering the entirety of Chapter 11, Quidditch, in this episode. Sequence 3 will start with the freshly formed trio sitting outside in a courtyard, huddled around a bright blue flame in a jam jar that Hermione had conjured. As they are talking and reading, Snape comes out and proceeds to confiscate a book and dock Gryffindor points from Harry for taking a library book out into the school grounds. After the incident, Harry exclaims how unfair that was, and they notice Snape limping back into the castle. Later on, due to his nerves about the upcoming Quidditch match, Harry decides to go and ask Snape for his book back, something that Ron heavily advises him not to do. Once he gets to the staff room, he notices the door is ajar and slowly peeks inside, and to his horror, he sees Filch attending to Snape's leg that has been badly injured. Harry tries to sneak out quietly, but Snape sees him and screams at him to get out. Harry does what he is told and sprints from the room around a corner and pins himself against a wall. We get a close-up of Harry's face, followed by a montage of flashback shots just like the beginning of the episode. Hagrid taking something from Gringotts, the Gringotts break-in newspaper article, Fluffy, the trapdoor, and Snape's leg with a huge bite mark. We finish the episode with a close-up on Harry's eyes as they widen in shock. Cue to black and the credits roll. So that's my plan for episode 4 of season 1. Almost only one chapter covered here, as it is a very long and important chapter. However, as chapter 11 is pretty long too, I thought it would be quite good to still include a bit of it here. Besides, opening and closing the episode with the reveal of the dog and Harry piecing together what it's guarding really ties the episode together nicely. Please let me know what you would like to see in this episode down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can keep up to date with this project. I'll be back next time to discuss Harry Potter Season 1, Episode 5.